Title: He is Still Standing Beside Me. A story of holding on when everything's falling apart. My deep end of trust that I look to. It didn't happen all at once. The unraveling, one small thread pulled by uncertainty, another tugged by a diagnosis, then a job lost, a friend turned distant, prayers left seemingly unanswered, and before she could catch her breath, Elise was drowning in the very thing she thought she had mastered: faith. But sometimes it's in the breaking that we learn what faith really is, and who God really is. The story: Elise stood in the oncology waiting room, her hands trembling as she scrolled back through her texts. No new messages, no sudden miracle, just silence from heaven and fluorescent lights that made the room feel colder than it already was. A week earlier, her world had tilted off its axis. You have stage 3 lymphoma disease. She nodded like she understood. She didn't. She prayed, hard, with tears that left her pillowcase soaked and her hope thin. But the more she begged, the more heaven seemed quiet. And in that silence, the enemy spoke.
See, God's not listening. If he loved you, he'd fix this. You must have done something wrong.
But even as those whispers clawed at her, a verse she learned years ago kept pressing through. I know the Lord is always with me. I will not be shaken, for he is right beside me. Psalm 16, verse 8. It wasn't a promise of healing. It was a promise of being ever present. And somehow, that mattered more now than ever before to hear. It's when faith doesn't feel like enough to you. People talk about trusting God like it's a light switch, on or off. But what if it's more like a muscle? One that only grows in resistance, in strain, in ache. And what if faith doesn't mean you never in doubt, but that you choose not to quit even when you do? We don't need answers nearly as much as we need assurance. Not explanations, but presence. That's what Psalm 16, verse 8 was for Elise. Not a denial of reality, but a declaration in the middle of it. I will not be shaken. Not because the ground is stable, but because God is standing beside me on it. This is Elise's journal entry, day 41 of chemo.
Dear God, today I couldn't even pray. I just cried in the bathroom stall at the infusion center. It smelled like bleach and loneliness. But I remembered what Hebrews 12 verse 2 says about Jesus, how he endured because of the joy ahead. And you whispered, so can you. Not because I'm strong, but because you are. Not because I see the way forward, but because you've promised you won't leave. So I'm writing this to remind myself tomorrow. You are with me. I am not alone. I don't have to understand. I just have to trust. And trust, today, looks like showing up.
Everyday truths and lessons that we all can use. Hardship is not evidence of abandonment. In fact, pain often reveals presence, God's presence, just not always in the form we expect. Faith is forward-facing. Like Hebrews 12 verse 2 says, look ahead. Jesus endured not because it felt good, but because joy was waiting on the other side. Stillness is not passivity. Resting in safety, like Psalm 16 verse 9 promises, is not giving up, it's surrender. It's choosing trust when control is out of reach. Strength is borrowed. You're not meant to white-knuckle your way through trials. You're meant to lean into scripture, into people, into prayer, into him. Embedded experiment, without naming it, just for you. Right now, wherever you are, do this. 1. Close your eyes for just 10 seconds. 2. Picture Jesus sitting beside you. In your room, your car, the doctor's office. What's his posture? His face? His words? 3. Let that image soften your breathing. Let it anchor you. 4. Whisper, you are with me. I will not be shaken. Repeat that process each morning. It's not magic, but it teaches your body and soul to recognize presence before panic, calm before chaos, the smile in the rain. It was 3 months later, Elise walked to the hospital garden. head wrapped in a soft scarf, for port still stitched to her collarbone. A child ran past, chasing bubbles. Elise smiled. She didn't have her miracle, not yet, but she had something deeper. Peace, because she knew God didn't have to change her circumstance to prove he was near. He just had to sit with her in it. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13, verse 5. So be encouraged, you will get through this. Takeaway just for you. When you feel the most alone, you're often the most carried. Trust doesn't mean having all the answers. It means anchoring to the one who is the answer. Not someday, not when the storm passes, but right now. He is still beside you right now. Penned by Gary Conan Doyle. In worship of God's wonderful glory. Hey, thanks for listening. If you're still here, something in this story or song clicked with you. So here's a little secret. When you hit thumbs up, it tells the YouTube gremlins, hey, more of this. And if you subscribe, it's like saying, yeah, I want in. So go ahead, tap like, hit subscribe, and make sure you don't miss what's next. Because this ride, it's just getting started.